Welcome to the Killshot MMA podcast from DFS Army. It is UFC Fight Night, Usman versus Buckley. I'm going to break down all the fights on this card, is what I would usually say. We are going to skip one fight and save for our members. The reason being is we had a late change in that Charles Jourdain is out. Ricky Simone is now going to fight Cameron Smotherman. And the last time I looked, I don't even have odds for that fight, much less DraftKings salaries. So we're not even going to talk about it at all. We are going to skip it entirely and save that breakdown for the DFS Army members. Link in my bio to join up at DFS Army. And in the description, if you're watching on the DFS Army YouTube page, we're going to cover Simone Smotherman there because we don't have odds or salary. So we'll talk about that later. But we are going to break down all the other fights on this card from a DraftKings perspective, bring in a little bit of bets as well. We always throw them out there. Kill shot at the end. A lot of intro this week. I'm Sniper. With me, as always, is Monk. Monk, pretty exciting UFC 316. I mean, the main card went down exactly as I thought, other than for you, Mr. Joe Pfeiffer got you. But otherwise, I think we had a pretty good week overall.
Wasn't Patchy Mix on the main card?
That's right. So you got that
didn't go so well for everyone except for me. All hail.
There were quite a few people.
Not on our website. There weren't. I was the lone Mario Batista backer. The best bantamweight in the world lost the fight. Second best bantamweight in the world moved up in pound for pound rankings. Let's go, Marab. It was a fantastic week. I like fifth in the Iron Man. Just all around good stuff.
All right, well, we're going to leave last week behind because we got to focus on this week and all the fights on the card. Some interesting matchups here. I think the dogs are going to be barking. I have quite a few underdog picks and a couple where I picked a dog just because I thought it was a toss-up fight and the line was wrong. And, it's fun being a contrarian. So, Monk, as always, top or bottom?
Well, ladies first. So we got to go Horth and Demo.
All right. Vanessa Demopoulos, Jamie Lynn Horth. Horth is a minus 600 favorite. Oh, that's aggressive to say. Vanessa Demopoulos, plus 425 on the comeback. Your, fight goes to decision is good old minus 350. And your DraftKings salaries for this one, get ready for this, guys. Like, buckle up, because Jamie Lynn Horth is going to cost you $9,400, and there's three people more expensive than her on this card. Vanessa Demopoulos, on the other hand, is $6,800. We're going to keep our rhythm here, Monk, where I'll kick to you first. Before I do that, I'm going to let everybody know if you're watching this on the DFS Army YouTube, welcome back, as always, where we've always been. I'm streaming this live as we record them because I figured why not on my own YouTube and X accounts. If you guys are watching there, go ahead, type any comments, questions. We'll try and get to them as we as we talk about these fights. And if you want to jump in next week and you're listening after the fact, we typically do these Tuesdays. I thought 9, apparently closer to 9:30, but who knows? Mug's rolling his eyes.
I do. I have the receipts.
Probably. I'm getting old, man. Somewhere in that area, we will record and do these lives. If you have any questions, type them in. Otherwise, now, Monk, that we've gotten through that, who you got for this fight?
Oof. Well, this won't take too long. I had her at minus 475 earlier, and no one can be straight betting her. So that means people are parlaying Jamie Lynn Horth this week. Yeesh. Never thought I'd say that. It's probably fine, though. Vanessa can't stop a takedown. She has no striking defense. It's bad all around. She relies completely on chaos, especially on the ground, especially after getting bloodied up and beaten up, for her to have really any kind of success. So yeah, it's Jamie Lynn Horth is the pick, but 9,400 is unacceptable for any sort of contest. I think I had her as a GPP fade because, you can't just fades. Anything could happen, but yeah, she doesn't score well. She doesn't do a ton. She doesn't drop a ton of ground strikes. I think she put up like 65 on average so far in her, I guess 2 UFC fights. Yeah, 60 and 67. So yeah, I'm not really looking forward to this one from a DraftKings standpoint, but Horth should dominate here. Like I said, Demo can't stop takedowns. So
Yeah, look, let's bring up the numbers. It's that simple because you don't want to pay this price, but 25% takedown defense. That's super concerning. Jamie Lynn Horth has landed a takedown in all of her fights, including one against Miranda Maverick, who I think is, to this point, can we agree Miranda Maverick's a little bit underrated?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Is she the best? Probably not, but I think she's definitely underrated. How do you not pick Jamie Lynn Horth to win here? So she's definitely my pick to win. It comes down to DraftKings. Can we play her at this price? I actually think you can, but I don't love it. I say you can because there's quite a few places I just don't want to go, and we will cover those along the way. Let me give you some hints. In terms of in cash games, Wellmaker's 9,800. That kind of makes me scared. 9,500 for Umar Sy in a giant step up in a GPP fight. Adolfo Bellato at 9,300 GPP fight. Michael Chiesa 9,200. Is he going to score big? Like Jamie Lynn Horth she's in the mix in this price range because of some of the other shit shows on this card. I think she's fine. I'll go ahead and play her. And conversely, if you want to punt with Demopoulos, probably going to get some rounds of action out of her. And we've seen dumber game. Like Jamie Lynn Horth should go out and get takedowns and win this fight. Is it really going to surprise anybody if she doesn't do that? We've seen some psychotic game plans, especially in the women's divisions. Horth is the pick and the play, but I got that tinge of worry about it. But in terms of DraftKings scoring, fight pick, I'm not surprised her number's gone up. I think she's a viable parlay piece in that minus 300 to 400 range, I guess. Minus 600, no thanks. Mr. Superman, no here. All right, let's move on. And let's talk Phil Rowe and Ange Loosa. Ange Loosa is minus 132. The comeback on Phil Rowe is plus 112. Fight ends inside the distance, I assume. No, wow. Goes to decision at minus 250. Yeah, I guess so. All right, fight goes to decision at minus 250. And your DraftKings salary, this is the mid-range fight. Ange Loosa is 8,400. Phil Rowe is 7,800. I know I said the whole time I was going to kick it to you first, Monk, but please, I need you to make sense of this betting line for me because I don't get it. The books were on my side too. The books opened up with, some of them opened up, well, I guess just Bet Online opened up Rowe as a favorite. And the line moved. Why is Ange Loosa a favorite? I don't get it. I'll let you go first though, but this is puzzling at best.
Yeah, I agree. I have Phil Rowe picked out right this week at 7,800. DraftKings did some weird shit with the salaries for sure. We got 9K fighters, and this is the closest salary that we have at 84 and 78. But it is what it is. Look, man, Loosa has takedowns and he has control. Now his takedowns aren't the best, and his control isn't really dominating. He's a shorter welterweight, but he is, if you've ever seen Ange Loosa, he is just extremely built, like just super buff guy, and he'll just lay on you and you cannot get up. And that's what happens in most of his fights that he's won, all two of them, I believe. And that's what Phil Rowe
dick competition.
Exactly. Exactly. It was Reese McKee and AJ Fletcher. Anytime he's taken a step up, whether that's JDM, Bonfim, or even Munir Lazez, he does not look good. He did not look good in that Brian Battle fight. He was getting his ass whooped for the most part. I mean, he did land a takedown and some control time, but he was taking the damage and he was wearing the damage from Brian Battle. I don't get this line personally. Loosa lands like 5.5 strikes a minute. He gets hit with 6.7, and that's low for rounds 2 and 3, where he averages 7.42 absorbed and 7.36. Like, Phil Rowe is going to strike your face off. He only lands like 3.6 strikes a minute, but if you're Ange Loosa, you're going to, that's Rowe's game plan. He's just going to go in, stay at distance, don't get taken down, don't get put against the cage, and strike his face off. If that doesn't happen, Rowe also is sneaky good on the ground. He's got, on average, it's a very low number, but more reversals per 5 minutes than almost any other fighter on the card. And he's got 4 submission wins. Now, none in the UFC, so that's kind of sneaky there, because if Ange Loosa is just laying on top of him, this dude could get triangled, he could get reversed. I think Phil Rowe can win a decision. I think he can win by knockout, which is how he's won all 4 of his UFC fights. even if Lusa's never been KO'd. And I think he can win by sub if he gets in trouble on the ground. So yeah, as long as he doesn't get just held down and laid on by Ange Lusa, I think he's got a great chance to win this fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down on that because look, let's do the wiki capping real quick, and then we can talk about just the matchup. Ange Lusa is fuck Brian Battle. This is a loss. Ange Lusa wanted out.
Absolutely,
he quit. Absolutely quit in this fight. He's 2-4 with wins over AJ Fletcher and Reese McKee. Ooh. And Phil Rowe lost to Gabe Green. All right, not a great loss. Nico Price is a good win, and then he's lost to Neil Magny and Jake Matthews, borderline top 10 to 15 guys, right?
And very close fights too.
Yeah, split decision against Neil Magny, and we're gonna. So I mean, there wasn't a lot of action in this fight, but I think Phil Rowe has gotten so undervalued because of back-to-back losses. I mean, I guess the number here is 56% takedown defense, but that's all Ange Lusa has. I think Phil Rowe should be slightly favored. Better quality competition. I think physically he's going to be stronger and hold up. Better striker. Like, I think this line should be flipped. Not that Rowe should be like a minus 250, but I think the line should be flipped. In terms of DraftKings, now that I've said that, though, don't have a ton of interest in this fight. I think the only thing that makes it interesting is Phil Rowe is $7,800 and a dog I'm picking to win, but it's not one to go overweight on. I'll be under on Ange Lusa and probably about field weight on Phil Rowe. Bet wise, though, especially if Phil Rowe is going to hover around plus money, I think he's worth a play for sure. Absolutely.
Shout out Phil Rowe. Let's get it done this week.
Watch him get knocked the fuck out now. Make me look stupid. All right. Remember, guys, we are skipping Simone and Smotherman because we don't have odds or a salaries yet on DraftKings. DFS Army members will get that. Join up at DFS Army. Use that code SNIPER. Get yourself.
The only thing I will say is Simone has already been priced, so we're getting him at 8,700 regardless of the other guy's salary.
Yep. We'll talk about that in Discord. Save it. Gotta leave him wanting more, Hunk.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of lines I don't fucking understand, we're gonna go back to back here because I don't get this one either. Jose Ochoa, Cody Durden. Ochoa's minus 177. Durden is plus 152. Fight ends inside the distance, minus 125, so about 50-50, which is interesting for a flyweight fight. And then your DraftKings salaries. Ochoa's 8,600. Durden is 7,600. Monk, can you make this one make sense to me?
Probably not. I don't get this one either. I'm on the Durden side. There is a 10-year there is a 10-year age gap, but it's not like one guy's 40 or 42 years old. One guy's 34 and one guy's 24. So one's about in the, around his prime, and the other age wise, and the other one is relatively inexperienced with 8 fights. He had a good fight against Lonnie Kavanaugh, and everyone is so high on Lonnie Kavanaugh. That's probably why this number looks like this. I think Lonnie's going to have a real tough fight with Charles Johnson in a couple months, but that's another podcast. But the Lonnie Kavanaugh fight was basically this, they basically canceled each other out. 1 strike differential. So Ochoa got outlanded by 1 strike. No one landed any takedowns, and Ochoa had the only control time of the fight. It was relatively boring, a very close fight. But yeah, I think that's why he's being overvalued here. Look, Cody Durden might be 3 and I don't know. He's lost 3 of his last 4. It's to Tajir Ulanbekov, Bruno Silva, and Josh Van. Those are 3 fantastic, maybe, fantastic or right below that level of flyweight.
The 2 wins before that, we cannot Hadley and Johnson are
Hadley and Johnson wins. Exactly. Hadley's huge and Johnson's even bigger. That was a fantastic fight. He outstruck Johnson, 11 of 18 takedowns. Control him for almost 10 minutes. I don't get this one at all. Cody's relatively consistent when it comes to the striking, and the control time is almost 2 minutes around on average. The takedowns are constant, and Ochoa just, while that is impressive that he held his own with Kavanaugh, we don't know exactly at the UFC level how good Kavanaugh actually is yet. He hasn't really fought anybody, so he looked good in his debut, but that doesn't give me any reason to play Ochoa at minus money or at $8,600 salary. So give me Cody. I don't know how many more Codys I'm going to pick on this card, but I am picking Cody Durden.
I'm with you. I'm on Durden as well. I don't even know. I like Durden even more than I like Phil Rowe. There's no way I'm playing Jose Ochoa. I'll be underweight. And if he burns me, he burns me. I'm going to say that about a couple other guys, the other Cody included. If he beats me, whatever. But I'll save that rant for in a little bit. I think Durden's wrestling's going to win the day here. He's going to control the pace. I don't understand the line for this one. Even if he wins, is he going to pay up in DraftKings? I think that's even less likely.
Yeah, Durden's the one with all the upside.
Yeah, Durden's been knocked down by Bruno Silva and Tajir Ulanbekov. I haven't seen that from Jose Ochoa yet and Muhammad Makayev. I guess that's the thing, is people are relying on Durden's chin. If that's where you're going, I get it, but flyweight, I don't think Durden has got that bad of a chin. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but give me, he ate tons of shots from Joshua Van. So I'm not buying the chin is cooked narrative. So
he's only been KO'd once.
Yeah. But the knockdowns, and this was a clubbed sub, I believe. I think. So, but again, it's Tajir Ulanbekov. I think quality competition. I think this line is off. I'll probably have a bet on both on Durden as well, and I'll definitely be overweight to Durden on DraftKings. All right, let's flip back, guys. If you are on the live stream, feel free to type in comments. I know it's new, but we got 15 of you guys watching live. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but these video's been doing between 500 to 700 views on the DFS Army channel. So thanks to everybody who watches every week and those of you watching the live stream. Malcolm Wellmaker, Chris Moutinho. I have things to say about this one too.
Sorry, did you say Chris Moutinho?
I did. And you know what? Chris Moutinho, the Sean O'Malley punching bag, the guy who sucks, rah, 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 rah. The guy who's on a 5-fight winning streak outside of the UFC. Like I get what he did against O'Malley, and again, that was against Sean O'Malley. Really gonna compare Sean O'Malley and Malcolm Wellmaker? I'm not picking Chris Moutinho by any route, but to call this guy flat out scrub and jobber, I think is a bit much. Like I think he's getting a little bit too much hate here. Wellmaker's minus 2,000. Moutinho is plus 1,000. Oh, buddy. Fight under 1.5 rounds is minus 165. So that just screams GPP, play Malcolm Wellmaker. And as you would expect, Wellmaker is the most expensive fighter on the card. He will cost you a paltry $9,800. Chris Moutinho could be had for a bag of apples and 6,400 DraftKings dollars. Monk, who you got?
Well, first, I think Malcolm Wellmaker should be forced to change his nickname. There's only one The Machine in the UFC, and we know who it is, and it's not Malcolm Wellmaker. That said, I cannot believe Chris Moutinho is
same division too, by the way, right?
Yeah, insane. That's ridiculous. I can't believe Chris Moutinho is back. Like you said, what you said about him in the Sean O'Malley fight. Well, right after that fight, he got knocked the fuck out in 2 minutes by a 42-year-old Guido Canetti.
Guido
Canetti. Leave the gun, take the Canetti. That's what happened there, and it was bad.
230 significant strikes.
230.
You can make the argument, by the way, this was 8 months later. That was not enough time off. Like you could eight months,
he took one of the worst beatings we've ever seen. Like that's up there. It might be worse than the BSD EZS fight. That might be the worst beating I've ever seen. Like it was just bad. But he was probably in a
10-week fight camp, which means he was back training after 6 months. That's not enough time to heal.
He probably spent more time thinking about his hair color than he did in training camp, coming back from that fight. But either way, it only took 28 for Canetti in 2 minutes. That's still 13 strikes a minute. This dude's averaging 15 and a half strikes a minute given up in 18 minutes or something like that.
His numbers are dog shit now. Let's just call it what it is.
Ridiculous. And his 5 wins, 2 of them were against guys with losing records. One of them has 16 losses, and the other 2 have no experience. So I'm not too surprised there. Also, I'm not too familiar with Combat Zone, to be completely honest. But yeah, I like Malcolm Wellmaker here. I'm not going to force him in. If you can get to him, you can get to him. I was able to. I like a few dogs on this card, so I was easily able to get to Malcolm Wellmaker with money left over and another 9K person in there. So I like Wellmaker. I wouldn't count on him to pay off his salary, though. Moutinho.
But it's minus 185 to be under 1.5 rounds.
That's true, but he's going to need 2-3 knockdauns, a quick win bonus. I don't know. He's going to need something. He's going to need he's going to wish, Chris Moutinho looked like Matt Frivola in a couple of fights in there for him to pay this off. So either way, I think he's better for cash, and it's risky for GPP. I'm completely fading Chris Moutinho.
Yeah. For example, if he does what he did against Cameron Simon, which is a few strikes and knockout 2 minutes, like this paid what, like, I think I swear like 10, I gotta do the quick math, 102.4?
Something like
maybe
that.
a half second of control time here. That's not going to be good enough at 9,800.
No, he was 8,400 and he made the optimal lineup. Now he's
It's
fucking
weird.
way
Now,
more than that.
And he's looked phenomenal. No question, he's looked phenomenal. Get these short notice guys. Is he going to take a little bit off? Is he going to skate a little bit? Like, what is he going to choose to do here? I do think he's way better than Chris Moutinho. All Chris Moutinho has to do is last a minute, and all of a sudden Malcolm Wellmaker's scoring is in jeopardy to pay 9.8K. Just is. And I don't think, as I said, you kind of clearly alluded to, I don't think Chris Moutinho is that bad. Like, he's not the worst signing. You know who's worse than him? Yeka Sergey, which, by the way, that was so good. That went exactly how I said. 10 seconds. That was amazing. He managed to look worse. I shit all over him, and he still managed to look worse. He
has a UFC win, though.
Exactly. So, I mean, the way Wellmaker really pays off is that Chris Moutinho eats everything for 4 minutes and 30 seconds and then goes down late, which is possible. It's in the realm of possibility. Here's probably my hot take. I don't think Chris Moutinho is as bad as people have led you to believe, right? I would rather play, are you ready for this list? Rather than Chris Moutinho, I would rather play Chris Moutinho than Cody Brundage. I would rather play Chris Moutinho than Vanessa Demopoulos. I would rather play Chris Moutinho than this one I'm going to get shit on for, but Court McGee.
Oh.
That's 3 people on a card down and below 7,300 that I'm more interested in. So immediately, no matter how bad I think he is, based on the matchups, I'm not going to fade him. And if you're telling me I can get like to 8 to 9%, put him 8-9% of my lineups at of my 150, and I'm going to be double the field, telling me that's not good value, I would disagree with you. And I'm going to look at the DFS Army ownerships, make sure you tune into that. But I'm going to strongly consider being over Chris Moutinho. And I get it. You could X him out and just go higher up on other people. It's something I am considering, because Malcolm Wellmaker, people aren't high on Cameron Simon anymore on 3 straight losses. I mean, I get those are his losses, but that just, Peyton Talbot, Christian Rodriguez, Malcolm Wellmaker, and then he beat Adam Bromheld. So is there a possibility he's a fraud? Probably not, but at minus 2,000, I'll take a little look.
He does get hit too much.
Only on
does,
yeah.
Yeah, so I'd be worried about that with Moutinho, who does have volume when he's not getting his face smashed in.
Well, that's the thing. If Wellmaker thinks he's better than this guy and gets dragged into a war of attrition, is Wellmaker built for that?
Yeah, and he's a 31-year-old prospect. Moutinho's has 20 pro fights at 32.
They're just I'm not picking him straight out. I'm just saying there's a bunch of red flags where I'm willing to take some shots on Moutinho, and I think a lot of the noise in social media right now is just telling you to X Moutinho out of your player pool, and I'm not there. All right, I think we spent a lot of time on that fight, but I had a contrarian look there. Michael Chiesa, Court McGee. Chiesa's minus 350. McGee is plus 285. Fight goes to decision is minus 150. Your DraftKings salaries for this one. Michael Chiesa is too expensive, but he's 9,200. McGee is 7,000. Relatively clean transition from me this time, Monk, because not a ton I want to have to get off my chest this time. So who you got?
I'm on the underdog this week with Court McGee. I don't see how anybody could pay. First of all, minus 350 on Michael Chiesa is insanity.
That's a different conversation.
9,200 is relative to that line, and it's insanity. He has 0 striking whatsoever. He doesn't even throw leg kicks. He is completely 100% reliant on takedowns and a submission. Court McGee has, okay takedown defense on paper, 70%. But in his last like 10, I think he's been taken down 4 times. One was Ramiz Brahimaj, who only got 30 seconds of control time on Court McGee and lost that fight. I think it was 2 were Sean Brady, where people say, oh, Sean Brady was in love with his hands that week. Okay, well, he's a fantastic grappler, one of the best at 170, and he got 42 seconds of control time, standing, total, standing or on the ground. So I think Court McGee's looked fantastic against primary grapplers. Also, he's never been subbed. He has been KO'd 3 times. Chiesa has no knockouts, none. He has no power, no striking. I don't see how he pays this off a lick, and I think this goes to decision. And at 7K, Court McGee lands like well over 4.5 strikes a minute, has control time and takedowns of his own, and is still out here finishing fights. Yeah, Tim Means was 40 years old, but Michael Chiesa was already retired. He was already retired, came back, beat a washed-ass Tony Ferguson, beat a 39-year-old Max Griffin, and he's 37 himself. So, yeah, I don't get this one, man. I'm clearly on Court McGee here, and yeah, I like him in all formats. He's also a very underrated DraftKings scorer, like extremely underrated. I think he averages like 90 points per win, something like that. It's in decisions, 91.1. It's insane.
I guess he's fine because he's cheap, but I'm not going to go there. 69% takedown defense is okay. On a 3-fight, well, it wasn't on a 3-fight losing streak. Tim McGee, like Court McGee is on the old man, I'm going to fight old men kick, and that's what Michael Chiesa is on. These 2 guys are combined billion years old in fight years, and that's fun. Relatively good matchmaking for that reason. Look, Chiesa needs to get takedowns, right? 69% from Court McGee is okay. Chiesa, on the other hand, by the way, he's got to win. His last win over Max Griffin is way better than the wins that Court McGee is on. I think overall in his career, Chiesa, I think it's clearly at his peak, was better than Court McGee at his peak. They're both fight old. I think he's got a pretty distinct advantage grappling. I think when McGee's going to have to worry about the grappling of Chiesa, his striking is going to drop off, because I don't think his striking is, like, it's better, but it's not leaps and bounds better. Like Court McGee can mix it up a little bit. I know Chiesa's got limited striking. I think you're underselling a little bit. I think the biggest skill advantage in this fight is the Chiesa grappling, and they're both super fight old. I'll lean towards Chiesa. I will say, DraftKings wise, I don't really like either of them. I'm gonna be underweight to both sides of this fight. I don't think this fight scores well because it's -2. It was -250 to go to decision, something like that. And while there's other underdogs I like to win straight out, and there's other underdogs who are live for big scores. Court McGee, you said he's a good scorer in decisions. That's when he can wrestle. He's not going to want to grapple here. He's going to want to strike. I think you take the grappling out there. I don't think he's going to score well, even in a win. So I'm on the Michael Chiesa side for those reasons. But shitty for DraftKings. All right, we get to run this one back. Talk about it again. Paul Craig, Adolfo Bellato. Bellato, -400. Craig is +300. Fight does not go to decision, -500. GPP special. Alarm bell should be going off in your head. And your DraftKings salaries for this one. Bellato's 9,300. Craig is 6,900. I will say in the transition here that Paul Craig, I think, has some of the most interesting and insightful and just honest. The guy I like to listen to in those pre-fight week and the fight week interviews. Like this last time, like the one time he was talking about change of his diet and he, was giving him stomach issues. That was funny, but last time out, he's aware he's fighting for his UFC job. He's aware if he loses this fight, he's getting cut. Like he knows, and it just not all guys are self-aware like that, for better or for worse. So I like Paul Craig. I will be rooting for him. Aside from how we're going to break this down in a second. That being said, Monk, who you got?
I wish I could pick Paul Craig. He's the pick in my heart. I want him to win. I'll be rooting for him. I think the smarter pick is Bellato, but Bellato sucks, right? Bellato has no striking defense. He's completely reliant on big punches early and getting that knockout in the first round. Other than that, he's got next to nothing. Like he lands 6.28 strikes a minute. He gets outstruck. I mean, it's close, but he is getting outstruck. He allows a ton of strikes. Paul Craig only lands 2.5. His takedowns, not the best. Like, he'll go for him, obviously, but at least at middleweight, they were not pretty. It's this weird cradle, roll to his back and try to pull guard nonsense. He doesn't control much of the control time overall, but he doesn't have to. He's a jiu-jitsu player, a grappler, and all he needs to do is let Blotto fuck up and maybe, knock him down. And that's when he fights smartest, because dumb guys will rush in and try to finish him, and next thing you know, they're tapping out because they're in a fucking Paul Craig triangle. So
to be fair, when's the last time Paul Craig fought someone who sucked?
It's been a while.
Kyle Bahio, Brendan Allen, Andre Muniz, Johnny Walker, Volkan Ozdemir, Nikita Krylov, Jamal Hill. Probably old Mauricio Shogun Hua is the answer. But then Antigolov and then Vinicius Moreira, that's where for sure. But that's been a lot of fights before I got to anybody who sucked.
For sure. And he is, he's lost 5 of his last 6, but 4 of those were at middleweight, which is not his weight class at all. But other than that, I mean, Johnny Walker knocked him down, but Jamal Hill didn't knock him down. Krylov didn't knock him down. Hua didn't knock him down. Bellato does knock. I mean, he knocked Vitor Petrino down, and that is about it. He's the one that gets knocked down. 3 of 4 fights, he has been on his back from a punch. He has some of the worst defense. I mean, you take out Chris Moutinho, he has some of the worst defense on this entire card when it comes to striking. It's right up there with
anybody catch that?
It's right up there with Demopoulos. It's right up there with somebody else I don't remember. We'll get to him. Oh, Menefield in the next fight. It's pretty bad. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Bellato, even though I hate that pick. I want Paul Craig to win. His defense is just not good all around, although his striking defense is leaps and bounds better than Bellato. So there's a chance for Paul Craig here. Strictly a GPP fight. I'll probably have more Paul Craig rostered, but I think the smartest pick is Bellato, even though I hate it.
Look, you laid it out. Bellato sucks. It's a clear path here for, we've seen him on his back. He does not look good off his back. I know he has been taken down. He's been getting knocked down. Paul Craig's got those awkward kicks. Look, but Bellato does have power. Like that is what he has. I understand the line. It is a GPP special. I am picking Paul Craig. I am picking maybe a little bit with my heart, but there's a clear path here, and Bellato's overvalued. I will say, a Bellato win on DraftKings is not going to light me up. I'll probably be field weight to him and over on Craig, and that's how I'm going to approach it. Like, I'm going to be fine. If you're running, I'm not going to go do it. I won't give it the whole breakdown, but join DFS Army for the ownerships. But let's say Bellato's 35% owned and Paul Craig will be 25. I'll probably put in 35 for Bellato and like 40 for Paul Craig. Like, I'm just going to be overweight because I think there's a very clear path.
For sure.
And Bellato sucks.
Well, yeah, he cannot be trusted.
So, and could he knock him out? Sure. But, I'm not going to pick it. I'm not going to. I think I've swayed from the first time we talked about this fight. Fuck it. I'm with Paul Craig.
He's 37, but he's probably way more durable. He's probably got his durability back since he doesn't have to cut those extra 20 pounds.
Maybe. We will see. Remember how much bigger he was than Andre Muniz? That was gross.
Yeah, that was crazy.
All right, let's talk Alonzo Menefield, Umar C. I don't quite get this line either. I think it's just really disrespectful to Alonzo Menefield that he's plus 500 in this spot. Umar C is minus 700. Fight ends of the distance, minus 250. Another GPP special fight. You're trying to win tournaments. This is one you need to look to. Your DraftKings salary. C is 9,500. Menefield is 6,700. Monk, who you got?
I'm going to have to go with the favorite here. Menefield's defense is just not great. I know I said I just talked shit about his striking. It wasn't, I was thinking of someone else, but his like subcategorical striking, like body strike, especially inside the distance, clinch, body, all that stuff is extremely low. He gets pieced up there. His overall defense is not great. He pretty much gets outstruck. Well, it's 3.95 to 3.94. So it's basically even, but he gets taken down. He gets controlled. His last 2 losses are against great competition. Azamat Mirzakhanov is undefeated. Olberg is Olberg, and losing in 12 seconds never looks good. So Jimmy Crute took him down like 6 times, controlled him for 8 minutes. He lost to Big Willie Knight, who landed 1 of 4 takedowns on him and controlled him for a little bit. Like, that is not a good loss whatsoever. He doesn't even score well on DraftKings. He's only made optimal twice in his last 7 wins. Umar Sai, we don't have enough stats really. I mean, he beat Dawoon Jung, but that dude's not quite as game as I thought he was maybe 4 years ago. Thought he might be, a big Korean guy that can actually throw punches. Turns out he's just not a very good light heavyweight. So that is a decent win. He did everything though, and that's what we like to see out of prospects, much like Abdul Malik, much like whoever fought last or a couple of weeks ago, Yadier Dovali, whoever it was last week that did the same thing. I can't remember. But yeah, 6 strikes a minute. Yeah, multiple takedowns.
No, Yadier. Sorry, Manuel is. Yeah.
Well,
sorry,
Yadier,
I do the tape index for MMA 365, and Manuel Dovali believes a cage warriors fighter that I was just looking into. My bad.
There was another one last week though that was, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But either way, these well-rounded guys that come off of Dana White Contender Series fights, or just plucked out of wherever. I mean, this dude's landing 6 strikes a minute, 2 takedowns, 3 minutes of control time. I love seeing that. 30% of his 90 strikes went to the legs, so he's not headhunting. He looks very, very well-rounded. And honestly, I don't trust Alonzo Menafield. I mean, the Dustin Jacoby win was very good, a very close fight in which he got outstruck and out-controlled by a kickboxer, by the way. The Julius Walker win, he probably should have not won that fight. And then Jimmy Crute, I mean, Jimmy Crute's had been, not 100% his whole life. His only good win is against really a fraud in Mazarov other than Jacoby. So, yeah, I'm taking Umar Sai. I like him at his price, especially because I do not like a lot of the 9K range. Decent GPP fight, though. Play both sides, but I don't think Alonzo is quite as atomic as he used to be. And I like how Sai looked, especially with his stats overall. So give me the favorite here to win.
I'm with you. I couldn't pull the trigger on the Alonzo Menafield pick, but I do think the line's a little bit disrespectful. I mean
that's crazy. Minus 650 or 700.
And plus 500 for Menafield. Yeah. There's no way I'm laying C in as a parlay piece. No, thank you there. DraftKings, this is a fight to get both sides of. I'll probably be at least field weight on both guys, and I'll probably honestly be overweight on Alonzo Menafield because, like as I mentioned, I want none of Cody Brundage. I want none of Demopoulos. I'm not playing McGee. I know Monk is. And I mean, I guess spoiler for you guys watching live, stick around. I'm not going to be playing much Kamaru Usman either. So I have some options here. And Menafield, I'll be overweight too. But C is the pick. I couldn't get away from it. I wanted to. Wanted to pick Alonzo Menafield. Couldn't do it.
The guy I was thinking of last week was Andreas Gustafsson.
By the way, that was my good call last week. I ran through all over him. That was phenomenal.
Yep.
And scary. By the way, anybody booing that fight in Newark, go fuck yourself.
Dude, they deserve it. They don't know what they're even talking. I mean, Marab, they'll boo Marab. They're just, I don't know why they just don't admit that they don't like fighting and they would rather watch like schoolyard fights or something like that,
Go watch boxing, I guess. And I was, I've gone to the Prudential Center, and you know what? Doesn't really surprise me. That's what we saw.
It is New Jersey. What are you gonna do? It's like I don't one of the best, I don't watch it hardly at all, but one of the best Rick and Morty quotes I've heard is your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you people cheer. And that sums up the entire crowd at pretty much these fights that boo.
Last week was rough.
Yeah.
All right. Cody Brundage, Mansour Abdul Malik. Look, Cody Brundage is such a bitch that I got totally scammed by a fake Marcel Dorf account to believing he pulled out. I saw that this morning.
I had people totally disappointing me.
Totally fell for it. I was
the name on that. I think that was Parcel Morph or something. He's like, oh shit, you're right.
Yep. I totally fell for it too, though. Hook line, because it's believable. It's like Cody Brundage out. Of course he's out.
Yeah, between that guy and MMA Centel, everyone is fucking losing their minds this week.
MMA Centel had a great one about Patchy Mix that he shit his pants because he was fighting in front of a few thousand people.
Yeah. Oh, and people even fighters are commenting like, dude, this guy's like, have you never heard of NBA Centel? Like, are you serious?
It's phenomenal. It's good stuff. All right.
good.
Malik is minus 800. Brundage is plus 550. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 1,000.
Holy
Oh
shit.
my God. That's up there with like, okay, cool.
Minus
That's a big ass number. DraftKings salary, Malik is 9,600. Brundage is 6,600. Monk, who you got? Please say Brundage. Please say Brundage.
No, I cannot say Brundage. I just can't. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say? He's lost like a bunch. He should have another loss to Abdul Razak Al. I mean, he beat Julian Marquez. Who cares? That dude's terrible. Zach Reese, turns out he, the last time we had a huge inside the distance line that went to decision because of him. Jacob Malkoun was a DQ win. I mean, he's got a couple of them. He lost to Cedricus Dumas. That's really all you need to know. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm on Abdul Malik. Like, he hasn't, he smashed Dusko Todorovic, unlike Zachary Reese. Nick Klein, he was able to take him down, stuff 8 takedowns, and outstrike him as well. Ended up finishing the fight in 8 minutes, and I think he scored probably not great, only 88. So that's the concern here. That's my concern. That's the hot take here, is that while I think Abdul Malik has no trouble winning this fight, and Brundage is likely also fighting for his job, I don't know that if he doesn't get it done inside the first, round at least, because I know Cody doesn't eat a ton of strikes. He's actually has pretty good distance striking defense. It's inside the distance. When he goes for takedowns, it gets taken down because he doesn't control any control time, and then he gets ground and pounded into submission or until he turns his head, and if you're dumb enough to just keep elbowing the back of his head, he gets a DQ win. So I think Abdul Malik's probably a bit smarter than that. I am worried about him paying off his salary, though, which is why I like guys like Sai more than him at this price range. Malik seems to be completely dependent on a round one finish with a couple of knockdowns, or at least, like maybe 80 ground and pound strikes if he can get it done. But I'm very nervous about him paying off his salary. So I'm going to be a little bit hesitant to play him. I'll play a little of Cody Brundage because, like I said, he's got some tools, but I don't think they're right for this fight. So yeah,
he's got some tools like a screwdriver and a socket wrench,
which he might need after this, after he gets cut from the UFC if he loses.
A cordless drill. I keep going. Look, he fucking sucks. He's awful. If he beats me, he beats me. Not only is he awful, he's a bitch. You know what? Would he beat the shit out of me? Absolutely. But I don't know. There's his whole attitude and just a fucking
not a fan.
But not a fan. You know what? I bet he's best friends with Chris Curtis.
Yeah, probably.
Man, if you've never watched our show before, you may not get the reference.
Maybe that's why they haven't fought each other, because they're best friends.
Besties. All right. I really can't add more to the fight breakdown. Malik is a legit prospect. Probably going to hammer Brundage into submission. Knockout coming. I will be full fading Cody Brundage. He will be in 0 of my items. If he beats me, he beats me. Malik at those numbers, minus 185 to go under 1.5 rounds. Just sign me up. I'll be overweight to him, core play. And that's really why I'm okay not playing as much Wellmaker, because if I got to pick between Wellmaker and Malik, I'm going to pick Malik. And I don't know, it's going to be pretty hard to get both of them in a comfortable lineup. But sure, in GPPs, you can try and run it. But Abdul Malik is my favorite play on the card. All right, let's talk Cody Garbrandt, Raoni Barcelos. Is it a hot take to say holy overreaction, Batman? Raoni Barcelos is minus 190. Cody Garbrandt is plus 165.
I don't think it's
fight ends inside the distance is minus 125. And the DraftKings salaries, and we'll talk here. Raoni is 8,500. Garbrandt is 7,700. I have been one of the biggest stands for Raoni Barcelos. I've been a huge Raoni Barcelos guy. This line is a product of him beating Peyton Talbot in a super positive stylistic matchup, right? Meanwhile, you got Cody Garbrandt, who's lost to Davis and Figueiredo last time out. Look, everyone says that Cody Garbrandt's washed. Is he fight old? Yes, but just remember his losses: Figueiredo, Kai Kara France, Rob Font, Pedro Munoz, TJ Dillashaw. He's been fighting the best of the best, and when he dropped down, he beat Trevin Jones, Brian Kelleher. I would tell you that Raoni Barcelos is better, but closer to Kelleher and Jones than he is to Figueiredo, France, and Font. I don't know. I think this is a bit wide. Monk, who you got?
It's probably a bit wide. I'm gonna side with Barcelos here. What worries me is Garbrandt's chin, obviously. But the fact that he got knocked out by a flyweight is really what's concerning. I'm pretty sure the Kelleher and Jones fight were both at bantamweight, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, that was, I believe so.
But yeah, when he did drop down to fly, he got fucking handled, and it wasn't just a knockout by a 125er. It was a knockout in 3 minutes. Like, it wasn't. There was no 23 strikes to 9. Like, it was ridiculous. Meanwhile, Barcelos.
To be fair, do you remember when TJ Dillashaw tried to cut to 125 and Henry Cejudo knocked him out in 10 seconds?
Oh yeah, but like, why did Garbrandt drop down? Because he was getting fucked up at 135. KO. Decision to Rob Font. The Sun Sao win is whatever. He was, 8 years younger than that dude. But yeah, he got, because his chin couldn't take it. So he's like, I guess I got to do something. And then that didn't even work out for him. So since then, it's the Trevin Jones win, which was extremely close. And then Brian Kelleher, he KO'd in 3 minutes. And Kelleher is like also 37. So I don't know, man. Raoni's lost to like Victor Henry, Umar Nurmagomedov. The Kyler Phillips loss is not great at all. But I think he rebounded fine. And this is probably closer to a 50-50 fight than the line would indicate. I'll be playing some of both sides, but Cody, I mean, he is extremely one-dimensional, and he doesn't throw like leg strikes and he's not good inside the distance. So he's one-dimensional. So he needs a knockout, a knockdown, something, win on the feet to actually, a decision to actually win. And I think Barcelos has several more paths to victory than that. He's much more well-rounded. Both guys have great takedown and control defense. Both guys' striking defense kind of sucks, but Barcelos is just a little bit better. So in that regard, so I'm picking Barcelos. I don't really like this one. What are our salaries here? Is it ridiculous?
85 and 77.
It's not crazy. You can play both sides in GPPs. I've never touched this one in cash because honestly, it is more of a 50-50 fight for me. I just don't trust Garbrandt. So he could win for sure. Also, one of these guys, him or Patchy Mix, has to change their fucking nickname. No Love. What is this? Patchy No Love Mix. Cody had it first. I think maybe. Actually, I don't know. He might have had it in Bellator for years. Who knows? But they have to fight for their name, I think. That would be a great matchup. Yeah, put fucking Cody Garbrandt against Patchy Mix.
I'm fine with that. I think Cody's got to win this fight for that to happen, by the way.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I like Cody here. Really, we're on the same page. It's a good GPP fight. Probably good, not great. I'm probably a little higher than you because I think if Garbrandt wins, it's because he's an 80% takedown defense, and I think he's way better than Davison Figueiredo on the feet. I'm sorry, than Raoni Barcelos. I'm looking at the name here. Than Raoni Barcelos on the feet. Raoni, on the other hand, needs takedowns. He's going to need them. Can he throw more volume? So where Raoni wins, it's got two paths: war of attrition, wearing down Cody, landing a big shot. Cody goes full stupid like he does quite often, exposes his chin, and the grappling. Cody Garbrandt's path, way cleaner striker, really good takedown defense. With quality competition, and I don't know, one of those, you play the fight out in your mind's eye. I see Garbrandt stopping the Raoni takedowns and using his boxing and really piecing up Raoni on the feet. That's how I see it playing out. Could go the other. I think both guys are fine in GPPs. This is, again, good, not great to fight. Target, I will be on the Garbrandt side. One of the few times in the last 2 weeks that we have differed here. Although it's happened a couple of times this card. It's good. Now, let's see if we differ here, because I have a really strong take on this fight.
I think we're going to differ here.
Edmund Shabazian, Andre Petroski. Shabazian's minus 190-ish now. Petroski's about plus 165. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 250. So regardless of what side you're on, you need to be playing the other one. You go field on one, over on the other. That's your GPP strategy. It's how you attack DraftKings if you're multi-entering. If you're doing 1 to 3 lineups, it's less. You find, then just quick strategy talk, then you change. You find the fights that should score highly, pick your winners in those fights, and then fill in the last 1 or 2 fights with your favorite fighters in terms of matchups. DraftKings salaries I need to give you before we kick it over to Monk. Shabazian's 8,800. Petrosky is 7,400. Monk, who you got?
I am going to be on the guy who knocked himself out on Jacob Malkoun's hip. I'm going to pick Andre Petrosky here. I think he's got far more paths to victory. Edmund Shabazian is relatively one-dimensional. He pretty much gets out-controlled in almost every fight. He allows way too many strikes, like way too many. 3.85 is fine, but in the third round, he completely falls apart. Like he only has 11 and a half minutes of round threes, but his striking goes from over five strikes a minute in the first to less than 3 in the second, where he somehow, for some reason, focuses on control time, and he gets outstruck by a strike a minute while getting taken down, while getting controlled for 2 minutes. Round 3 completely falls apart. 0.52 strikes a minute. He is a strictly takedown and control time guy in round 3, which tells me he's panic wrestling, and he's getting hit with 6.72 strikes a minute, the same amount of takedowns, which is almost 2, and he gets out controlled 2.5 minutes to 1 minute. That's exactly what Andre Petrosky does. He's got overall pretty decent striking defense, allows just 2.6 strikes a minute, very good takedown defense, control defense. He's got the control offense, the grappling offense. Striking offense is decent. It's better than I expected, that's for sure. And Shabazian's defense as a whole, terrible. Like just really, really bad for the most part. Gets out controlled. He's obviously got a path to victory here in the striking. He needs an early knockdown because outside of the first round, at least statistically, in 33 minutes of round 2s and 11 minutes of round 3s, he cuts his striking volume in half at least. He turns into a grappler, and that's not what you want to do against Petrosky, who has at least two round 3 submissions, which means he has decent cardio, contrary to popular belief. And yeah, I think he's got way more paths to victory outside of like the first 4 or 5 minutes. So I like Petrosky. The price here is ridiculous, 7,400 for a guy with a ton of upside. Shabazian's last 3 wins are also garbage. Lungiambula, AJ Dobson, and Dylan Budka. Like, you're supposed to beat those guys. Petrosky beat Dylan Budka and Josh Fremd, which isn't much better. He also beat the black belt Hunter, got a win over Gerald Mearshart, subbed Nick Maximov in a minute. Like, he's looking pretty damn good. I know Shabazian's lost to good competition. Oh, what are you talking about? That's Nick Diaz's buddy. He was about to fight Hamzat. Shabazian's lost to decent competition, but his wins aren't anything special. Not much better than Nick Maximov. So yeah, I'm going with Petrosky here with a ton of DraftKings upside.
Andre Petrosky is going to be in my GP, but let's reiterate, he's going to be in my GPP field. I'll be about field weight, maybe a touch over, because I do like the fight overall with those numbers. It's a pretty binary fight, but here's the thing. You know, the more I think about it, I'm probably actually still going to be underweight to Petrosky. I think Petrosky, I take back what I said. Am I going to fade him? No. I'll probably be a little underweight because I like Petrosky 0%. And Petrosky is overrated in my mind, and Shabazian is underrated. For all the reasons you just mentioned, I think I could pick through the stats. You were kind of cherry picking the round 3s where, look, Anthony Hernandez, terrible matchup. I don't think Andre Petrosky is going to do like. In theory, he's going to want to wrestle, but he's out wrestled Josh Fremd and Dylan Budka. It's one of those. I think Shabazian is underrated. 65% takedown defense is decent, and you got to throw. I wouldn't say throw out, but Anthony Hernandez is going to jack up your numbers here. As is there's another fight, Derek Brunson, and this was Shabazian. By the way, this was back in 2020. Shabazian now this is another thing to mention with him. He's not 28 yet. He's in the UFC at like 22, 23 years old. Some of those stats are taken from when he's a baby, and some of the wiki. He's constantly improving. I don't think Andre Petrosky is going to be able to ragdoll him. I think Shabazian striking is going to be a real problem for Petrosky to try and close try and close the distance. And I'm not a believer in Andre Petroski, especially after knocking yourself out on Jacob Malkoun's hip, which was fucking wild, by the way. I was at that fight. That was one of those. That was the Atlantic City card, where twice in that card we all looked around like, what the fuck is happening? That fight and the when Buckley randomly knocked out Luque in what looked like Luque just gave up. Like, it was two different instances of what's going on here. Are we in the same place? Regardless, that's just how I value these fighters. I think everybody's too far down on Shabazian. Growing, strong, better striking, decent takedown defense. Petroski, I think, is a little bit one-dimensional especially in this matchup. I think if he can get a takedown, I think Shabazian's going to fuck him up. Maybe I'll be wrong. I'll be over on Shabazian, under on Petroski. That's a stronger take. The numbers would indicate you should probably be overweight to both guys in the minus 250 inside the distance prop.
If I knew this guy had seen a sports psychologist, then I would probably be higher on him. What's his name? Ronda's ex-coach, Ronda's coach, that Sarverdian. That dude fucked Edmund this guy up, man.
Yep,
that dude fucked this kid up.
Edmund Taverdian is whatever. Rose Namajunas, Miranda Maverick. Namajunas minus 245, Maverick plus 205. Fight goes to decision minus 450. DraftKings salaries. Rose is going to cost you 9,100. Maverick, you get a deal here at 7,100. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, I don't really understand this line. I think it's way too wide.
It's Rose.
What's that?
It's Rose.
Yeah, but it's Rose at flyweight. Like, people are, she beat Zhang, and yes, she absolutely had fucking phenomenal wins at strawweight. Phenomenal wins. She should be probably considered for the Hall of Fame after that run. Joanna, I think twice. I don't remember. Zhang for sure twice. Andrade in her prime, like, ridiculous run. Losing to Carla Esparza that was like one of the worst fights we've ever seen. She loses to good competition in Blanche and Fioro. Fantastic. But yeah, Hebas win, I don't really take a lot of stock in, and she barely won that fight. Cortez was a better showing.
Hebas took her down 4 times, by the way.
Yeah, 4 times. She got out controlled, did Hebas, but she's still, 2 minutes of control time there, and it's hard to control Rose Namajunas. Tracy Cortez really didn't stand a chance, but I don't think she's in the upper echelon of the 125 division. I wasn't so sure about Miranda Maverick either. We will see in this one, but I think she's looked a lot better. Her losses are just as good as the people Namajunas has lost to: Macy Barber, Erin Blanchfield, and Jasmine Jasudavicius. This girl is landing almost on par with Rose's striking, and in round 3 she outstrikes her. She's got better takedowns overall. I mean, more volume. The control time is double.
This split was horseshit. The Macy Barber split was.
Let's.
I remember not.
Yeah, 100% was 100%. She outstruck Macy by 0.8 strikes a minute. They both landed a takedown, and they both had like a minute and a half, 2 minutes of control time. So yeah, on paper she won that fight. I agree for sure. And she went, decision with Jasmine. That's, she got controlled for 7.5 minutes, but she did her thing, tried to land some strikes. That's a big step up. I know Rose theoretically is a step up, but you have to separate 125-pound Rose from 115. And Miranda's got phenomenal defense, rated very, very well. Her takedown defense, not the best at 44%, but she still controls 60.5% of the grappling time she's involved in. She outlands her opponents an average of like 1.4 strikes a minute, and Rose is allowing 3.5 per minute. So she's only got a 61% takedown defense herself. So yeah, I think this one should be a lot closer. I'm not paying 9,100 for Rose at flyweight. What were her scores before we move on? Her scores were 119 against Cortez. She needed that knockdown, and then it was just a domination. And she did okay. She did score 105 against Hebas. Both of those were 25-minute fights also. So I don't know how she's going to pay that off in this one. I like Miranda Maverick here. 7,100. I don't see how you can't put her in all formats for the most part.
Yeah. So there's 13 fights on this card?
And Rose also has never fought a southpaw. That's interesting.
The dogs I picked: Phil Rowe, Cody Garbrandt, Cody Durden,
Cody
Paul
Brundage.
Paul Craig, Miranda Maverick. Look, you laid it out pretty well. Rose has got 60% takedown defense. A lot of that is at strawweight. You got a flyweight who likes to grapple here, who I think is a little bit undervalued. I think stylistically, this is a bad matchup for Rose. I think there's especially number value on is the straight pick dicey, maybe, but I think there's supreme value here on this plus 200 number straight up. I think Maverick controls her. Also, Rose is used to fighting 5-round fights. This is a 3-round fight. Yeah, she'll have extra in the gas tank. Rose isn't an especially fast starter. You can give away around early. That could be a problem here. Regardless, we're talking DraftKings. How Rose pays off this salary, no idea.
Yeah.
Even if, like...
I mean, she needs a head kick in the first round, right?
I'm not playing Rose Namajunas. I will be full fading her, no shot. Could she win? Sure. Of course, she's a minus 240 favorite. If she makes optimal on this card, fuck it, I lost.
That would
and
be
kind
of
Cody Brundage make optimal, then I don't know what the fuck is happening anymore. So I'm on Miranda Maverick for all the reasons we just laid out, leaving us for the main event of the evening. Before I do that, hit the like button, share with your friends, repost, all the good stuff. Appreciate the support. And now we'll go to Kamaru Usman, Joaquin Buckley. Buckley is minus 270. Usman is plus 230. Fight ends inside the distance is minus 150. So the Vegas leaning towards a finish here. Your DraftKings salaries, Buckley is 9,000. Usman is 7,200. His knees are 5,700. Monk, who you got?
Yeah, for sure. That video of who was it? I don't even remember. Someone, it's him and someone, another fighter sitting in the crowd. And it must have been Gaethje, right? And Gaethje, like the camera's on him and they're watching the fights and Gaethje like slapped him on the knee. And all you see right before the cut is Usman go, like Gaethje touched his knee. He looked at it a little bit too hard and Usman fucking freaked out. So yeah, Usman, like back in the day when Usman fought Colby, that was right when I started doing those numbers for both guys were, I mean, I was in nerd heaven, the stats on these guys. And Usman's numbers still look like that, but the loss to Leon, the first one was like he was dominating until he wasn't. Like even with the head kick knockout on paper, the way I grade things, he still won the fight. Obviously he didn't, but yeah, he was dominating. That's how far ahead he was. The second one, not so good, got outstruck. Only 4 of 15 takedowns, but it did not go his way. And then Hamzat, he went up a weight class. What are you going to do? It's Hamzat. People say, oh, he stuffed 8 takedowns. Okay, well, he still got controlled for half the fight. And, majority decision is what it is. His numbers have all come down since that Leon Edwards head kick. Meanwhile, Buckley, since the last time Usman fought, which was over, a year ago, I think. Almost like 20 months ago, Buckley's rattled off 4 wins, knockout against Luque, decision against Ruzi, knockout against Thompson, knockout against Colby. Yeah, those guys are all, veterans and aging out of their divisions, possibly, maybe not Luque. I mean, fight old he is.
This was the weirdest. This was the weirdest fight.
But Usman is the same thing, and he has no knees. Like, I don't understand. Like, yeah, he stuffed 8 takedowns like 20 months ago. What's he gonna do now? Like, Buckley literally is getting better in every single fight, and he's got some fantastic fight IQ. Like, think whatever you want about the guy on social media, but this dude strikes when he's supposed to strike. He wrestles when he's not supposed to strike. I mean, what a great game plan against Stephen Thompson. Buckley lands like 5 or so strikes a minute in a few of these fights, most of them. Against Stephen Thompson, 2.7, landed 4 of 7 takedowns in 4 minutes of control time, finished him in the 12th minute. Great fucking game planning by this dude. Just absolutely fantastic. He knows what he has to do against Usman, and he's going to come out here and do it. $9,000 for a main event fighter. Probably, what is this line to go? Minus 150 ITD. I'm kind of hoping it goes the whole way because that's probably how Buckley pays off his salary. I don't see a round 1 or even early round 2 finish, although that would also help pay it off. But if we don't get that, I want to see this go to decision where Buckley wins 49-46 or 50-45, maybe even 50-44 if he just like ground and pounds this dude. So while Usman's numbers look great, I have to take into account, what's been happening in the past 4 years, and Buckley is just getting better and better and better. And he's entering his prime, guys. 31 years old against a 38-year-old, probably Hall of Famer, probably one of the best welterweights of all time. I just think we're a little bit past that now. So give me Buckley, and I love him in all formats.
Yeah, Buckley's in the upswing. Usman's in the downswing. You said it perfectly. Buckley looks phenomenal. He's got good striking, good wrestling. He looks well-rounded. I don't think Usman's going to have the durability to go 5 rounds anymore. Like, I'm on Buckley pretty much all day. You can, you could stack it up. I'm not.
Seems risky, although in a 5-round fight, I guess it could be okay.
Because it's minus 150 to go to decision, I'm okay with the stack here. But I think Buckley.
I think it's the other way around. I think it's minus 150 to finish, unless I put it in wrong.
No, you're right. And I just read it. And now, yep, fight into the distance is minus 150. You're right. We're still, so what are we? Minus 145 to get over 3.5 rounds. About pick 'em for under 4.5. I'm okay. The point kind of remains. I'm okay with the stack. I'm probably not playing cash this week because there's so many GPP fights I want to lock in on. I'll be over on Buckley, under on Usman. I don't see how, if Usman wins, it's gonna likely is optimal. It's takedowns, probably scores pretty well, really well, and pays off his salary. I don't think he wins. I think he'll be over-owned for the name value. I'm gonna take a chance. I'm gonna go underweight. And honestly, what's interesting is I probably, now that I'm going through and looking at who's on this card salary-wise, I might be field weight to Buckley, which puts me underweight to this fight overall, and I'll just shit my pants about it because, you know, Buckley is, what's the price tag here?
$9,000.
9,000. Cool. You got Ricky Simone at 8,700, who's probably going to be chalk.
Great chalk.
Bellato, if he wins, is going to be optimal, right? I'm still picking Paul Craig, but you have to get your Bellato exposure. Umar C, Malik, Malcolm Wellmaker. I know that all those guys are more expensive, but they all got a higher upside than Buckley in the match with Usman. And they're all going to probably be less owned. I think Buckley's going to soak up a lot of ownership. I'm likely to be field or under on Buckley and way under on Usman. And that's how I'll approach it. Don't go anywhere, guys. That is all the fights, but we have to give you a kill shot. If you don't know what a kill shot is, welcome to the show. Kill shot is an under-owned GPP play who can help you take it down. I tried to get Gustafsson last week. I think he ended up being too popular. That's why we didn't. My backup lost. But we don't know we don't have the ownership projections yet when we do these. So no main event. Try and give somebody who's not chalk. Favorites are allowed if it's going to be somebody who's not chalky. The idea is to get you guys on somebody who can help you win a tournament. We were red hot probably a month to 6 weeks ago. Cooled off a little bit, but let's see if we can get back on the train here. Monk, you got one teed up?
I do, and we're going to go with my guy, Phil Rowe, for the kill shot, 7,800. I just love this matchup. I think Lusa doesn't look good when he starts to get hit a lot, and I think that's exactly what Phil Rowe's game plan is going to be. And yeah, I love him here at 7,800. A little bit more expensive than I usually like to be with kill shots, but yeah. And since I know you're not going to take this one, if you had that one, I was going to go Petrosky at 74. But I love Phil Rowe here. I love Phil Rowe at 7,800.
Not Andre Petrosky.
Oh yeah.
Please don't, dude.
He's probably going to be too high owned to be a kill shot, anyways.
No, you can't.
Oh, yeah.
No,
he's 7,400.
How? You don't think he's going to?
I think he's going to be 25-30% owned.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. With all those takedowns that he lands, and he scores pretty well for the most part. 4 times optimal and 8 wins. Shabazian, gives up a lot of points when he loses.
All right, you ready for my kill shot? You ready?
Let's hear it.
Focus in. Right there.
Oh yeah.
The Bear Jew. I gotta go with Paul Craig. There's just no way around it. I think he's too cheap. I think Bellato has holes. He knows he's fighting for his UFC contract. He's 6,900. Let's roll in GPPs with Paul Bear Jew Craig.
Paul Craig.
That's what we got for the show. the first live stream of it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like button. We'll get some more comments next time. I'm assuming everybody just enjoyed watching. We posted on the DFS Army YouTube channel. Follow me on the account on YouTube and X, and you can get it in the live streams and at Sniper Wins, all one word. Make sure you follow Monk at Monk Maddox, Monk MMATICS, Monk Maddox, because he loves that math. Even if sometimes I gotta yell at him because he's cherry picking shit.
That's true.
All in good fun though. Beat me in the Iron Man last week. I scored points. I came in,
tied for 5th. Let's go.
I think I came in 9th or 10th, so I was fine with that. Andreas Gustafsson loading up on that motherfucker helped.
Hell yeah.
So
Gustafsson and you, I was all over you.
That was yeah. Those were the good calls for sure. Next week, let's see. Next week
Azerbaijan.
We got UFC Baku, which by the way,
be a damn good card.
If you do not know, that place is UFC fucking bananas. Like, just they love the sport. They're gonna be in like a giant football stadium, aren't they? Like a massive building.
So. This card is stacked.
Yeah, well, and they're doing it for. That's why this card is stacked. It's a fight night card, but it is stacked. Hill versus Roundtree, Fiziev Bahamundez, Blades Kunaev, Sadikov Mata, Naimov Bogdangrad, Ulanbekov Azat Maksum, Nordiev Jung and Iron Turtle Jung Young Park.
Orobai and Musayev.
We fall off a little bit. Hamdi Abdul Wahab and Muhammad Usman might be the cure for the will to live at heavyweight, but okay. Arena Russian Ronda's back. Alik Siva against Segula. Bottom of the card. And then you got Tofik Musayev, Miktabek Orlobai. And we get the reschedule fight that I'm really looking forward to, actually, in Siak Kian Ko and Oban Elliott. Looking forward to that fight.
I think Blades Kuniev was scheduled 15 times as well, so hopefully that happens.
So hopefully we get all these fantastic fight night card. Make sure you check out the Azerbaijan card. You want to get in the live streams, like I've mentioned, Tuesdays about 9:30 or so. Be ready to go. Join us in the DFS Army Discord. We're going to cover Blade Smotherman. We got ownerships and any other late changes that happen. Monk, you got anything before we get out of here?
That is it. I'm looking forward to this one, and especially next week. But yeah, guys, best of luck and enjoy the fights.
That's what we got. You guys enjoy. Thank you as always. See you in the DFS Army Discord. Helmets up. We'll see you guys next time.